Hemi Joel here at the Hidden Lake Horsepower Farm. Today I'm going to compare two sets of bushed roller lifters, endurance style, for the big block Chrysler. One of them is the Isky Red Zone, and the other one is the Howard's Cams. So there's a piece of paper in the Howards that says Black Mamba. That must be who makes them. It says don't wash them in solvent. They've already got lubrication on them. Inside the Isky, it says that you need to wash away the grease that's in them because it's not proper lubricant. It's only for corrosion protection, and that you need to clean, dry, and lubricate them. So taking a look at the Isky, pretty much a solid body on those. And the Howard's Black Mamba has cutaway body. Look at the size of the axle in the Howard's. Looks like about a ½ inch. Oops. And on the Isky, looks more like about 3/8 of an inch. Let's see what the weight difference is. If that cutaway body is enough to offset the weight of the bigger axle. Okay, 281 grams for the Isky. $271 grams for the Howard. So very, very minor difference in weight in favor of the Howards. So I'm going to do some measuring now and see how consistent these things measure out as far as diameter, taper, and out around. And that's important because we want to get about a 1.2 thousandths to 1.7 thousandths lifter to lifter bore clearance. And if there's a big variation in size, that's really hard to do. I'm going to stop videoing here for a minute while I get situated to measure one-handedly. Okay, I can't really measure with one hand, but I'm using the old Brown & Sharp micrometer calibrated to 10 thousandths of an inch. So I'll get these measured, I'll make a chart, and come back to the video. Okay, so I got all of the Howards measured. These are advertised as a 0.903 lifter, but I'm finding that in reality, I think these are a 0.904 lifter because they are measuring at an average of 0.9039 with no more than 2/10 thousandths of taper or out of round on any one lifter, and a very slight variation from lifter to lifter, in that the very smallest measurement I took was 0.9036, no, 0.9035, and the largest being 0.9039. So 4/10 thousandths total variation through all the lifters. So now we'll see how the Iskys measure out. By the way, these Howard's lifters have a very nice finish. They look like they were probably put in a vibratory polishing machine with some ceramic media or something. They got that nice polished finish on them. Okay, so I got done measuring the Iskys, and they are smaller. They're closer to 903, but not enough to drop them into a bore that's exactly 903. So with either one of these sets, if you got 903 lifter bores, you can't put these in or you won't have clearance. So the difference I'm talking about on these Iskys in sizing, though, from a minimum of 0.9029 to 0.9039. So there's a 1,000th of an inch variation between from the biggest lifter to from the biggest spot on the biggest lifter to the smallest spot on the smallest lifter, even though no lifter seemed to have an out of round or taper condition of more than 3/10,000ths of an inch. And most of them were pretty consistent. There was a couple of outliers that were just not consistent in size. So that's going to be tough to set your lifter bore clearance by sizing all of your bores the exact same size. You'd have to custom fit each one. With the Howards being more consistently sized, I think you could hone your lifter bores to the right size and make them all exactly the same and drop these lifters in and have the right clearance. Oh, by the way, these have 8/10,000ths of an inch roller wheel diameter. And there's my old lifters. These are Iskys. Okay, these performed very well. I had them in my 392 Hemi, did a couple of drag weeks, did some street driving, but I had a problem. You see that flat spot just below the axle? The cap screws that hold the cam retainer plate on the front of the block rattled loose while I was at sick week, and the cam moved forward and the lobes rubbed on the lifters and did that damage. So I decided to replace these lifters. That's why I got these two different sets here, to make a comparison. And to be honest, one of the reasons that I decided to measure them is when I put these Iskys in the engine, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, I did have to hone the lifter bores to fit each lifter because the sizing was not that consistent on those either. So with the Howards, they're a little bigger but more consistent. So, if you're shopping for lifters, it's just something you can keep in mind. Good luck and thanks for watching.